You are enjoying the contrast that makes that desire possible. You are realizing that without the contrast, the desire would not be. And without the desire, the summoning would not be. And without the summoning, the expansion would not be. In other words, it's all part of the process of expansion in this eternalness that we are all about, yes? Do you realize that you in your physical bodies and that which is us from non-physical perspective are all one and the same? In other words, you are an extension of that which we are. You are the physical version of that which we are the non-physical version, but we are all consciousness, and we are all moving forward, and we are all moving forward because of the same process of creation. In other words, our motion forward is because of your willingness to participate in a leading edge environment where you ask for yet more. Do you get it? That the variety that surrounds you is what inspires your personal definition of what you would prefer beyond what is? And do you realize that you can't turn that part of you off, that you are just born in a platform of experience which automatically evokes from you your personal clarity of what you would prefer? And do you realize that if it were not for the contrast, that clarity would not come forth? In other words, as you focus and you see what is wanted and what is not wanted, there is this automatic awareness of which of that you prefer. You are just born knowing that. And do you know why you are born knowing that? You are born knowing that because the larger part of you, have not said this before, the larger part of you is pure positive energy, meaning the larger part of you, the non-physical part of you, that which we come from, that which the inner being or non-physical part of you comes from and resides currently, that part of you stands in a place of never looking at what is not wanted. So there is a standard of love and worthiness and well-being that is already established from that part of you. What we mean by that is that part of you always loves no matter what, because that part of you is so accustomed to looking for the positive aspects of whatever is being focused upon, that that part of you holds true to that vibration of love always, 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 always. Now you, pioneer you came forth into these physical bodies where you explore a lot of things, and sometimes you get focused upon something that from your vantage point feels like a wrongdoing in your society. And if not a wrongdoing, often you see things that you frankly just do not prefer. Something about it feels off to you when you see it. And we want you to understand that the reason it feels off to you is because the larger part of you is not having any of it. If you were to look at your planet and you were to find some reason to decide or reinforce or believe that your planet is in peril, the source within you who knows differently from that is not having any of that thought that you're having. So when you have that thought, you get that raw donut in your stomach. It feels like fear, it feels like insecurity, it feels at a minimum like uneasiness. There are children in schools who are panicking over their perceived shortness of life on planet Earth. And when they feel that fear in their belly, that's their guidance saying to them, this thought that you are focused upon is an aberration of what the larger part of you knows. And as long as you are holding that thought, there is vibrational discord between you and you. Now some would say, oh, but Abraham, sometimes I feel fear about things that are real. So even though I'm getting the fear, which you say means the source within me isn't having any of it. It's reality. It's real. So how do I know that the planet isn't in peril? Because there are a lot of things that make me feel fear that are real. We have evidence about them. And we want you to understand that the reason that the source within you is not having any of that is because the source within you does not want any of that. And the source within you does not give attention to things not wanted. That's a powerful statement. The source within you does not give attention to things not wanted. And when you do, you feel negative emotion. That is the basis of your guidance system. So how did this source within you come to its conclusions about what goodness is? Because more numbers than you have numbers to even count them have lived physically and have compared through focus and who have come to personal conclusions again and again and again about what is preferred. And why is your preference so important? Because you are selfishly oriented to care about what's best for you. That's what your guidance system is predicated upon. You can't decide what's best for someone else. You don't have the statistics. You don't know the intention with which they were born. You don't know the intentions that they hold in the moment. You don't know what the beliefs are that they hold. You can't decide for anyone but you can and do decide for you. And when you do, the source within you takes you at your experiential conclusion and becomes a perfect vibrational match to what you've concluded. So when someone's rude to you, you want them to be nicer, and the source within you follows that thought, never thinking about the rude experience that you just had. When you're sick, you want to be well, and the source within you gives undivided attention to your wellness and never looks back at the sickness that you may be fearing or even living. When you are angry at someone for some very good motive because they lied to you, they deceived you, they robbed you, they wronged you in some way, when you focus there and see that, you automatically launch rockets of desire, in that case many of them, that you want to be respected and you want to be honored and you want to attract people to you that do respect you and that do honor you, and you want the world to be a nicer place. In other words, you are delivering rockets of desires on many levels with every experience that you have. You're not just having one level experience, you're having multi-dimensional experiences. You can't interact with one person without launching dozens of rockets of desires into your vibrational escrow. That's how fast your expansion is. And with each one of those preferences, desires, small, big, indifference, something you really care about, something that is not so important to you, you're still launching. And the source that is you, is holding to those rockets and giving undivided attention to that newly defined preference that you have given birth to. And when we say holding it for you, we mean in a sort of vibrational escrow, because all things that you know as real life experience that are eventually manifested, all of them, every single one of them, no exceptions, was a thought or an idea first. And so the ideas of your idea of improved life experience has preceded you. You have prepaved your vibrational manifestational experience. You have prepaved it through thought, and source is on it. So what's happening is there is an amassing of you, the new and improved, and by that we don't mean you're defective in any way. We mean the newly decided you is always out ahead of you, and the non-physical part of you is embracing it. So the picture goes like this. You were source energy and still are. A part of that consciousness you projected into this body, where you are having important leading edge experiences, where you are expanding into more thought-wise, vibration-wise. And as the expansion occurs, this larger part of you embraces the expansion and holds to that expansion, never ever slipping back one little particle from what you have come to. When you turn in the direction of the expansion, you feel good. You feel passion, you feel eagerness, you feel good. You feel on your path. But if you stay in a position of justifying why you want it, of course I want the world to be a better place because look at how despicable it is, you say. Of course I want this person to be nicer because look how not nice they are. Of course I want this person to tell the truth to me because look at the disruption of the lies. And we say, you can go there, and you're even justified in going there by world standards. And we are certain that if you were on the Oprah show or on any of those shows where they are dissecting human behavior and trying to decide which pile it goes in, the good pile or the bad pile, we are certain that you would be agreed with in most cases about this abhorrent wrongdoing. Agreed with by your physical counterparts, but never by your non-physical counterparts. And that is the reason, that is the only reason you ever feel anything less than joy. When you are thinking thoughts that agree with that which you have become, you feel fulfilled, you feel wonderful. But when you hold to a thought that preceded who you have become, you don't feel good. When you're not loving someone, you're not who you are. When you're mad at yourself, you're not who you are. When you're afraid of something bad happening, you're not who you are. When you worry about your children, you're not who you are. When you focus upon wrongdoing, you're not who you are. When you tell a lie, you're not who you are. When you are mad at somebody else who tells a lie, you're not who you are. You got to keep up with you if you are to be the joyful being that you are. So you can feel that what we are wanting to do is to get you oriented about the two aspects of you, these two powerful non-physical and physical aspects of you. And the important thing for you to understand is that the powerful law of attraction, which says, vibrationally speaking, that which is likened to itself is drawn, and we want to add here, everything is vibrationally speaking, because nothing is not vibration, everything is. That which is likened to itself is drawn. If you want to hear what's being broadcast on 98.7 FM, you got to set your tuner to the same frequency. You set it on a different frequency, you don't hear what's being broadcast on 98.7 FM. If you want to feel love, you've got to set your tuner on love, which means you've got to practice yourself into that vibrational place. You can't jump there all at once like you do by twisting the knob on your tuner. But you can practice yourself into alignment, and that really is what we're talking about in all of the hours with all of the people that we spend in conversation like this. It's our desire to help you to first realize that there is value in the tuning process. There's value in you tuning yourself to who you have become, because Source will never tune itself to who you are. That's worth noticing. Source will never tune itself to who you are. It's your job to tune yourself to who you are. You must tune yourself to the vibration of that which is you. And it should be a simple thing, because when you do, you feel good, and when you don't, you feel bad. How hard is that? How hard is that? Good means you're in alignment. Not feeling good means you're not. And you say, oh, I heard it differently. I heard that I'm not supposed to feel good. I heard that I am supposed to listen to others. And we say, oh, we see. You heard that you're not supposed to feel good. They are. You heard that they are living a very conditional love. They've sorted everything into piles, and they say, when I look at that pile, I feel good. When I look at that pile, I feel bad. So you need to get over there in that pile. You need to behave like everything else in that pile. You need to agree with my religion. You need to agree with my politics. You need to agree with my ethics. You need to agree with the way I dress. You need to agree with my economic values. You need to agree with me. And when you agree with me, you hear this from your parents, from your teachers, from your friends, from your lovers. You hear it from almost everyone. When you do the things that I agree with, then I will shower you with my approval. And you said, well, alrighty then. I can do that, because the rewards are mighty. I get food, shelter, approval. But what most of you discovered early on is that almost everybody you know is standing in a different pile. And their ideas of what you should be doing to please them vary. So then you become schizophrenic.